The Social Security Administration has just made a major update that affects millions of Americans who depend on monthly benefits to make ends meet. The long-awaited announcement for the 2026 cost of living adjustment, better known as COLA, has been delayed, and there's now a surprise new date that everyone needs to mark on their calendar. Originally scheduled for October 15th, the official COLA announcement has been pushed back to October 24th, 2025, due to the ongoing government shutdown. While that may sound like just another bureaucratic delay, for the more than 70 million people who rely on Social Security as their main source of income, this news matters deeply because this single announcement determines how much your monthly check will increase next year. And for many retirees, disabled Americans, and seniors living on fixed incomes, every dollar truly counts. Welcome to Truth Lens, the channel where we take a clear and honest look at the stories that shape your financial future, especially when it comes to Social Security, Medicare, and the everyday struggles of seniors in America. We know that for millions of older Americans, these updates are not just numbers on a government chart. They represent hope. The hope that the next increase will finally bring a little breathing room, maybe a few extra groceries in the cart, or to pay for that prescription without cutting back somewhere else. Here at Truth Lens, we break down these announcements so you can understand what's really happening behind the headlines, because your benefits, your security, and your dignity matter. Now let's break down what this COLA delay really means. The Social Security Administration announced that because of the temporary shutdown affecting several federal agencies, the Bureau of Labor Statistics has not been able to release the crucial September Consumer Price Index data on time. This index, known as the CPI, tracks the average price changes in everyday goods and services, from groceries to gas to medical supplies. It's the foundation of how the government calculates your cost of living adjustment each year. Without it, the SSA can't finalize the 2026 COLA number. That's why the announcement originally planned for October 15th has now been postponed to October 24th, 2025. But here's what's most important to understand. This delay affects only the announcement date, not your payments. The Social Security Administration has been clear that monthly payments will continue without interruption, and your 2026 COLA increase will still take effect beginning January 1st, 2026. You'll see the adjusted amount reflected in your February 2026 payment, just as usual. So while it's frustrating to wait a little longer for official news, you won't lose any money or see your schedule disrupted. For those who may not be familiar, the COLA, or cost of living adjustment, exists to protect Social Security beneficiaries from inflation. When the cost of goods and services rises, the government adjusts benefit payments upward to help recipients maintain their purchasing power. Without these annual adjustments, the value of your Social Security check would shrink over time, leaving retirees, people with disabilities, and surviving family members unable to keep pace with rising expenses. According to early estimates from the Senior Citizens League, one of the nation's leading nonpartisan advocacy groups for older Americans, the 2026 COLA is expected to be around 2.7%. That might sound like just a small percentage, but for the average Social Security recipient receiving roughly $2,008 per month, that means an increase of about $54, raising the average benefit to approximately $2,062 per month. While that bump may help with small expenses, many seniors say even this increase doesn't fully match the reality they face when paying rent, buying groceries, or managing medical bills. And this is where the story becomes deeply personal. Across the country, millions of seniors are already stretched thin. Many are living month to month, relying solely on Social Security to survive. The rising cost of food, housing, electricity, and prescription drugs has made it harder than ever for older Americans to stay afloat. For those living on a fixed income, every price increase feels like another door closing, Another reminder that the safety net they worked their entire lives to earn is often just barely enough to get by. The COLA increase is meant to help, but the truth is, even a few weeks delay in the announcement can add unnecessary stress for people who are already facing financial uncertainty. The government shutdown has made things even more complicated. With nearly 900,000 federal employees furloughed, agencies like the Bureau of Labor Statistics have had to pause critical operations, including data collection and reporting. The September CPY data, essential for calculating COLA, was one of the reports caught in that delay. To address the situation, select staff members were called back temporarily so the BLS could release the missing inflation data by October 24th. Which will finally allow the SSA to confirm the 2026 COLA. This move shows that despite the disruption, the agencies involved are working to ensure accuracy and fairness in how the new rate is calculated. It's also important to recognize just how many Americans this update impacts. The 2026 COLA will affect roughly 70 million people, retirees, disabled workers, surviving spouses, and even children who receive benefits through Social Security. For many of these individuals, especially seniors on fixed incomes, the COLA isn't just an adjustment, it's a lifeline. It determines how much flexibility they'll have in their budget, whether they can afford both groceries and medication, or whether they'll have to choose between the two. Even though the COLA announcement has been delayed, the Social Security Administration has reassured everyone that benefit payments are safe, stable, and on time. There's no need to worry about missing checks or delayed deposits. The SSA's primary goal is to ensure that retirees, the disabled, and survivors continue receiving their benefits as usual, even amid government shutdowns and administrative disruptions. Economists and policy experts have been closely watching the inflation numbers that drive the COLA calculation. While prices for certain items like gasoline have eased, others, particularly food, housing, and healthcare, remain stubbornly high. For seniors, those are the categories that hit hardest. Even a small increase in grocery or utility costs can wipe out the benefit of a COLA adjustment. That's why many advocates argue that the government's inflation measure, which is based on the consumer price index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, CPID, doesn't truly capture the spending patterns of older Americans. Seniors spend more on healthcare and less on transportation, but the current formula doesn't reflect that reality. So while the 2.7% projection may sound fair on paper, in practice, it may still leave retirees playing catch up with inflation. Despite these challenges, the October 24th announcement remains one of the most significant dates on the financial calendar for American seniors. When that official number is released, it will shape the monthly budgets of millions of households across the country. For many, it's the moment they've been waiting for and a sign of how much extra breathing room they'll have heading into the new year. But the larger truth remains. Life on Social Security alone has become increasingly difficult. Studies show that in most states, Social Security benefits do not fully cover the average cost of living. That means seniors often have to make painful trade-offs, skipping meals, postponing medical visits, or going without essential just to make it through the month. These are not luxuries. These are basic human needs. And yet, too many of America's seniors find themselves in exactly that position, despite having worked their entire lives and contributed to the system that now sustains them. Here at Truth Lens, we see the faces behind the figures. We understand that each statistic represents a person, a family, a lifetime of effort. The COLA delay may be temporary, but the struggle for stability and respect among America's seniors is ongoing. That's why it's so important to stay informed, not just about when the next announcement is coming, but about what these changes really mean for you and your loved ones. So mark your calendars, October 24th, 2025. That's when the Social Security Administration will officially announce the 2026 cost of living adjustment. The new rate, expected to be around 2.7%, will take effect on January 1st, 2026, and be reflected in payments beginning February 2026. The delay might be inconvenient, but it ensures accuracy. And more importantly, it guarantees that seniors will receive a fair adjustment based on the most reliable economic data available. As we wait for that official update, remember that these announcements are more than just numbers. They represent the ongoing promise of security and dignity for America's seniors. Through all the uncertainty, one thing remains true. You've earned these benefits, and you deserve to live with peace of mind knowing that help is on the way. And here at Truth Lens, we'll be here to keep you informed every step of the way, because your story matters, your future matters, and the truth matters most of all.